Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us with the Colorado Vendor Panel. We're here to really reach out and help our clients, clients that are potential for us as well. My name is Mariana, Mari. I'm the owner of Mariana Ziegler Photography. So yeah, that's me. Hello, everybody.
And I'm Tassos Hernandez, owner of TH Entertainment, DJ, MC, and live music.
And Natasha Tessito, Sugar Willow Events, planner, coordinator, and designer.
I'm Renee Hassman. I own CAK Design Studio based in Denver.
I am Jessica. I am one of the owners of Eleposh, and we are hair and makeup.
And we are Janelle and Steven Statham, and we own Woodlands, a venue in Morrison.
And I'm Molly Gallagher. I'm the co-owner of Madelyn Floral Design and Events.
Welcome, guys, and thank you so much for taking time out of your day to be here with us. I'm just going to start asking the questions that we put together for everybody. So we're just going to take turns, everybody, answering these questions to better help you guys at home watching. Everybody's at home right now. What am I talking about? You should be at home. How are you handling postponing weddings to a later date in 2020? And then how are you handling booking dates in 2021? And we're just going to go in the same order that we just did. So Tassos,
you want to go ahead and start first?
Yeah,
okay.
First. All the pressure's on you.
So basically how we're handling current bookings and postponements are asking for new dates. The only situation that we're running into is we have consistency with the DJs. So the DJs that have already been booked for those days may not be available for the couple that just hired them or the couple that's trying to reschedule. So we are having to move around certain DJs to accommodate our couples. And then on top of that, we're experiencing a lot of couples that want to book in 2021 as well. And we're open to more dates. We're just making sure that we're not overloading our DJs and making sure that they're not doing 5, 6, 7 event weeks. So we want to make sure that they're able to get a couple moments to relax and breathe, and then also making sure that that they're available for 2021. Some DJs like to wait and see what their schedule looks like. Sometimes they have family meetings or family vacations that they want to go to. So they are being very careful. So we're just having to proceed with caution, but we're also letting our couples know that the DJ that they originally hired may not be the DJ that they get in 2021 if they decide to move forward, and in 2020. So
That's great. All right, so Natasha, we'll go to you now.
Really similar to what Tassos said is we have a team, so we have the availability in most cases to switch to a different date, but we'd be running into the same thing where if our lead planner is booked on a Friday, we can't reschedule that same lead for Saturday, so we put another lead in place and just kind of hand over the reins of the planning from this point forward to your other planner. And I am on, I work with all of our clients in addition to their leads. So there's an easy transition, but it's a little bit different when we're looking at, moving dates and moving planners and getting to know each other again.
Makes sense. Perfect. And then Renee, you're next.
Yeah, so we're trying to be as flexible as possible. I mean, obviously this is a really hard situation for vendors and for clients. I mean, we want to make their day as amazing as possible whenever that does wind up happening. So as of right now, I've waived all change fees for cake deliveries if they have to change, as long as their date is before May 1st of 2021. And then after May 1st of 2021, we are having to charge a date change fee, only because we're a really small team and we can only do so many weddings per day and per weekend. And a lot of deliveries, especially with like donut wall setup or like a really large tiered cake, it does take more than one delivery person. And so that kind of limits us as far as capacity. And if we are using our future dates and taking up delivery slots. We just have to make up for that so we can continue to cover our overhead and things. So that's kind of where we're at right now. Just letting people change as much as we can, with the understanding that we have to remain in business.
Which is, I mean, I'm sure we're all kind of going through that same
Yeah.
kind of bit of thing. Jessica, how are you ladies handling this?
So we've been pretty fortunate that most of our weddings so far are summer and fall. So we've only had a few that we've had to move so far. Obviously, we've been doing our best to accommodate them and moving them to later dates in the same year. We've not had anyone yet that has asked to move to next year. I think kind of piggybacking off of what Renee said, we are also a very small team. There are only 3 of us that do hair and makeup for Eleposh. So a worst case scenario, you know, possibly the person that did their trial might not be the person that is doing their wedding day. But again, we're willing to bring in, you know, other contracted artists if we need to accommodate moving their schedule as best possible. I think that the one thing that we're really asking for here is, you know, as much lead time as possible, being that dates are super popular, just like for venues. And I'm sure that Natasha can attest to this as well. We have people that want very particular dates. And so, you know, those dates, September, October, June especially, have been booked up almost for a year already. And people tend to think of hair and makeup last for some reason when it comes to scheduling. So I think that we're, again, doing our best to accommodate, you know, new dates as long as we know ahead of time, getting them rescheduled without any issues so far, thank God. And then if for some reason we were unable to, we would probably refer them out to another hair and makeup team here in Colorado.
Mari, you're muted.
That's what I do for like trying to mute people to let people speak. So nobody heard that. But we're moving on to Stephen and Janelle, which is, I think, a really big question for most people right now is the venues.
Yeah. So as of right now, and you know, we do want to remind people that we're changing this all the time as things change, because that's kind of hard for people to understand too, that, you know, there's going to be a different story probably another 2 weeks or so. So we are keeping Woodlands open if we can be open. Right now we're in Jefferson County, so we have to be closed until April 18th. But if we are cleared whenever that is to open, we will be open. And if there's a situation right now, like where the government is preventing us from being open, and the CDC is recommending no large gatherings, then we are contacting the couples in order to reschedule their event. We're only doing that right now until mid-May, and then we're asking the other couples to wait with us and see what happens, which has been a challenge. But yeah, and we're currently allowing rescheduling up until May 1st. Again, you know, like some of the other people said, there's only one venue. So there's not even 3 of us, you get 1. So it's really challenging to reschedule. Our September is crazy. But we are only allowing people to reschedule up until May 1st of 2021. And if they want to choose a date that's later than that, we were under construction when a lot of these couples booked with us, so they paid a much lower rate. So we're taking, if they want to reschedule past May 1, we are allowing that, but then they get a credit towards their new date and they have to take on the new rate with that. So yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing that with us. I'm sure that can be, I mean, there's a lot of small teams around and
Yeah.
1-person teams, most cases. Molly, how are Florals handling all of this, since you guys are dealing with even seasons of how flowers come in, right?
Yeah, absolutely. We, I mean, right now we're committed to rescheduling 100% of our clients, and really trying to figure out, you know, what dates will work. We've been really fortunate and lucky that we can obviously take on more multiple events per day. So we've been able to reschedule or postpone we're postponed like everyone, I think, right now through May. So, you know, everybody's either choosing fall dates which is great, or we're completely open for people to book in 2021. Everyone for us, just probably the same as you guys, does pay some type of save the date retainer. So we're just kind of honoring that and moving that forward. So yeah, we'll talk more about seasonality and supply chain and all that stuff is going to definitely be affected in the next couple of months. So we'll have to see how it all shakes out.
Perfect. And for me, like I've spoken to a lot of different photographers and videographers just to kind of get more of a view of what everybody's doing right now. We are basically working the way everybody else is. We charge retainers. I mean, I know I charge a retainer. I'm not this year in 2020 charging a date change fee right now for this year. And then I think it's up to probably kind of how you guys said, May of 2021, because that's when the next busy wedding season comes. I'm not raising my prices astronomically for 2021, but I still do need to book those dates and leave those open for clients. Right now, my April wedding is being moved to October. My May weddings, one moved actually to 2021, and the other one is playing around with September ideas for their date. And then we'll kind of playing it by ear when it comes to June and everything for that. So the next question we have coming up is, what are you guys seeing as big pain points when your clients are reaching out to you for the postponement? And then we'll just go in the same way.
Okay. Pain points for my couples. It's mainly revolving around family. A lot of the couples say we want people to be there. We want people to enjoy themselves. So that is why they're looking to reschedule. They are more understanding of the retainer being held because they understand that that's kind of the way we operate business in this industry, where it's kind of to secure their date and make sure that they are able to receive services for that day. I've had a couple of conversations with clients that, they're not, what's happening is they're unsure of their own financial situation at the moment, and it's too early to know what's going to happen. So they want to get their money back. They want to get married, and they say they're going to go ahead and book us again. But at the same time, they're like not sure what's going to happen. So we are trying to be as accommodating as possible. We're trying to understand their situations, and we take it case by case. But again, I think there's a lot of unknowns as far as what our economy is going to do, what the workforce is going to look like after all of this. So there's just, I think the main pain point again is family, making sure that the people can celebrate with them, and then there's some level of certainty, or just there's a lack of information. So I think they're waiting until things come in, and then they can understand and then make accurate decisions.
We're same pain points. We're getting couples whose family and friends want to know what the plan is. We deal with a lot of destination weddings here in Colorado. So, they're getting calls and texts all day long from aunts and cousins and friends wanting to know if the wedding's still going to happen, if they still need to book their travel, if they need to cancel their travel, things like that. And so that's really hard when we're all in a holding pattern. Most of our 2020 clients have not had to pull the trigger on rescheduling yet. So what we've gone ahead and done for, our May and June is we have backup dates with all of our vendors as of right now for those events. That, they're not necessarily, they don't have a hold on that date for us. They're going to let us know if that books. Just so there's a little bit of peace of mind, like we know, okay, May 30th can move over to this date. And it gives people some comfort in having a little bit of control, even though none of us know exactly what's going to happen. So I really recommend, if you can, kind of just getting an idea, picking another date that works for everybody. It might be a Thursday, and that just is what it is, or a Monday or a Tuesday. I think people are going to be a lot more flexible as far as family and friends and accommodations right now. People are just going to do their very best. Another pain point is just availability. Like Janelle and Steven said, they can't be rescheduling their June weddings right now because they have to accommodate their April and May dates first. And so it's really hard when you're looking at just your wedding date and not being able to see why vendors can't move. But you have to think, you know, if they've got 30 weddings in a month, or, you know, just in general, whatever vendor it is, they have 30 people before you that need to be accommodated before your date. And so it's really hard, but I think when you stop and think and use the perspective, it makes perfect sense. We all just have to practice our patience. So availability would be the pain point, and just fielding questions from family and friends and guests is the two major things we're seeing right now.
Man, I didn't even think about the whole guest part. I guess you guys as planners deal with a whole other level of that. Renee, what about you guys?
Yeah, I think that as far as like reaching out to your vendors to reschedule and things, it's kind of going in like the same order that people tend to book in. Like they're talking to their planners first, and then their venue, and then their photographer, and like we kind of fall generally towards the end of that booking process. And so I feel like we're also kind of falling more towards the end of the rebooking process. And so most of the time, like the clients that I have had to reschedule so far, or are in kind of a holding pattern for rescheduling, kind of depending on what's going on with the venue, by the time that they get to me, the reality is already kind of set in that it is what it is, and it's more of like the emotional grieving of like our original plans are not going to go. And so it's just kind of like that, having to shift that mindset of this is something that we were really excited about that we're holding on to, and now we don't know exactly what's going to happen, so we just kind of have to like let it go and see what happens in the world. So I think mainly by the time people get to me, it's really just like the emotional grieving process is a pain point more so than anything else, which is really hard because I love my couples and my other clients, and it's hard to see them going through struggles too. So
dude, it's so heartbreaking.
It
is. Okay, I feel like I'm pushing things along. Like I think we all just felt that a little bit. So Jessica, for you ladies, what is it? What is that pain point looking like?
I think exactly what Renee just said is literally, she took the words out of my mouth too. Being hair and makeup, we are, I feel, one of the last vendors to get booked. And I think so we're experiencing, you know, people coming to us, and most of them have already reached out to or have been reached out to by their venue and or their planner, you know, looking for backup dates from us as well. And that does make it difficult because we are now officially in April, and we've been booked already through most of the end of the year for those popular dates for fall, you know, being the biggest bridal season. I feel like in Colorado, those dates book up June through October, as most of you guys know, book up really, really fast, and that we are only 3 people. You know, we have 15 weddings on the books for June, and there's only 4 weekends. So, you know, it does make it hard. So I think the biggest pain point for our brides right now is availability, which you guys have all mentioned already. And I think too, if I could ask for anything, it would be that they're, one, flexible, you know, in what they're trying to achieve, or if they do have to move their dates. And then 2, I think kind of what Renee was saying too, you're going down a process. I think maybe even involving anyone or everyone in the beginning, you know, they can literally copy us all on an email. Most of us work with other vendors already. You know, we know a lot of people in the same industry, and just know that we're willing to help you communicate the process too, if that makes it easier for you. We're willing to be that touch person if you need us to. Some of our brides don't have planners, you know, and so they're doing it themselves. And I feel like that's where a lot of the stress comes into play, is they don't know where to start. So if you're listening, brides, I would suggest having a planner for your wedding day.
Yes.
But if you don't,
please.
just know that, you know, we do have a community, I feel like, in Colorado, especially, where we know a lot of people in the industry, and we're willing to help you do what we can within reason, obviously. And if that means reaching out to other people to get your date moved, you know, we can literally correspond on one email. Let's get it all out there. These are the dates that we have available. Are you guys available? No, we're not. Okay, here's the next date, and kind of have that, you know, succession to where we can really make your wedding be exactly what you hoped it would be. And it will be.
It will be. Yes. All right, guys. So Janelle and Steven,
Yeah, and in stark contrast to Renee and Jessica, we're on the front lines of these reschedule questions, and so it's we understand that we have to turn off the news ourselves because it gives us such anxiety, and we can only imagine what our couples are all going through, and they've been planning their wedding dates for well over a year, maybe some of these cases 2 years, and the anxiety of just every day not knowing what's going to happen. We're fielding calls for couples all the way out to August at some points, and it's really tough for us to have to tell them that we're all anxious. We just hope that we can all sit back and wait, and let's see what happens. And like you guys all mentioned, we have to go down the line. We have to make sure that we're being fair to our April couples who have already rescheduled and our May couples who may need to reschedule. And so we're trying to do our best to balance the being fair part to also being understanding to the anxiety that all of our couples are feeling. And it's really tough. It's the hardest thing with all of our April couples to have to make that call with them and talk to them on the phone and tell them that we have to reschedule your wedding. And we've known these couples for a year, 18 months, and we know they've been planning this so hard and looking forward to this date, and to have to reschedule to a Wednesday or a Thursday 6 months from now is really tough on them. But that's been the biggest pain, is to witness it firsthand, and to also have to tell people we can't reschedule you right now and you have to wait. And it's really hard to say that.
Yeah. Oh, I'll wait till it's my turn to speak on that, but oh yeah. All right, guys, Molly, what about you ladies?
Yeah, I mean, I think based on everybody else's situation and what you all are going through, I feel like our pain points are very, very low at this point. Obviously, the biggest thing that we're going to see for in just floral in general for decor, seasonality changes. We encourage our clients to use a lot of seasonal blooms. I foresee us having to collaborate and lean on local farms more than ever this year. Just because, you know, we're extremely lucky in Colorado that we have multiple farms that grow amazing dahlias, lisianthus, peonies, just to name a few. But we're used to buying those, obviously supporting them. But I think because the supply chain is starting to kind of crumble in some ways, it's kind of crazy to see, you know, some of these farms that have been supplying people for hundreds of years, really at this, or not hundreds of years, but over 100 years, are starting to have to make some significant changes. And it's really painful to watch on our end. But, you know, I'm just hoping everyone can be flexible, understand, you know, you might have, you had a June date, now you might have a fall date, and you might want to play around with those fall tones and different colors and things that are available. And we're happy to obviously make adjustments and changes to make it, you know, still exactly what you want, and give you an opportunity at least to see a little bit of change if you want to.
I was wondering about that. That was a big one that I've heard some of my brides talk about with the florals, is completely changing their color scheme because of that. So I was personally very interested to see what you guys had to say about that. For photographers and videographers, we either fall number 2 or number 3 on that line. So we're kind of in that middle. What I'm seeing a lot of is I'm getting the panic. I'm getting the, oh my gosh, I'm just realizing that my wedding isn't going to be what I initially imagined. So it's not that realization. It is that realization that, like, oh, this is going to be completely different. There was a lot of dates chosen for very specific reasons, for that you can't push out another year, or you like moving it 6 months. That just kind of takes away their personal ideas of what's special for it. Right now, as far as logistics goes, it's dates. It's just having available dates, because if you're not getting married in spring, you really want to get married in fall. And then there's people saying, oh, I want fall colors, when they're looking towards the end of October, and I have to be the one to be like, so October, like last year in 2019, we got a blizzard in, I can tell you, on October 10th, and fall colors were gone the next day. The next day, they were just like, snow came, took everything away. So it's not something that we can promise them. So I can't be like, yeah, totally book that day and you're gonna have those beautiful fall colors, and I can't promise that. And I think that's what's becoming hard, is having to be the bearer of bad news and learn how to support you brides and you grooms through all this, and knowing that we are all here for you and our hearts are breaking with you. And we are businesses, but we are in the wedding industry for a specific reason, and it's mostly because we care about people. You're not really in the wedding industry if you don't like people. So it's knowing that and understanding that every single one of your vendors who you've connected with, like most of you have booked a year in advance. We've gotten to know each other on a personal basis for a lot. Like, we're invested, and that is painful. That's just a pain point, I think, within the wedding community in general right now. So now that we've talked, moving on to the next question, now that we've talked about the postponement, there's also a lot of you looking to get married in 2021. You're new brides and grooms, and you've just been proposed to, and you're excited about that, but also panicking because you don't know what's going to happen. So what we're all going to go and kind of give you, if there's like one piece of advice moving forward, what we can give to you guys, I guess. So we'll start with Tassos.
My first piece of advice, I know it sounds a little weird, but have a backup to your backup. I think we have some couples that say, hey, we want to get married in September. And the truth is, we don't know how long this is going to last. We don't know how long the regulations are going to be in place. So, it does require other countries as well to participate. If other countries are not allowing travel, a lot of our couples invite, their family from Italy or from China, these places that have been severely affected. So have a backup. If you're rescheduling, September, October, November, just be aware that you may have to go through this process again, and be patient, and just let us know right away. I'm not trying to instill fear, but I just want to make sure that you're aware that we're here to support you, and we're here to make sure that everything is being taken care of for you. And just be kind of mentally prepared if things need to shift, that you can accommodate that.
I think our biggest piece of advice right now is being flexible. Obviously, as planners, we believe that everybody should have a planner. So couples that don't, reach out. If it's a budget thing, ask around. I'm sure there's plenty of people who, your other vendors that are booked, your photographer, your DJs, whatever, can help you find somebody to be your, best friend in all of this and your shoulder to cry on. And they're going to be able to read through the contracts and give you the best advice, so you're not alone. Sometimes it just takes having one more person to talk through it with. That's not, because we feel the emotions of our couples 100%, but we can also be outside of it. We're not holding the same emotions that they are, so we can talk through it and either see reason in it, or see where we need to make adjustments. So I would say get help. Like Jessica was saying, other vendors are willing to help you. So just ask if they have recommendations, ask if they are familiar with the other vendor you're trying to work with. It's all about kindness. And I think that here, definitely our Colorado wedding community is so unified and so willing to help, whether it's or vendors in the same field, or just wedding vendors in general. Like, we are so used to working together and helping each other that's an asset that people don't realize that they have here. So I would just really ask for help when you need it, and ask from anybody that might have the answers for you, would be my biggest piece of advice right now.
For me, I think that the biggest thing that I really want couples to understand and to walk away with every time one of us is communicating with them, and especially from this video, is that, like, obviously we've all said it, like, we really do care, and we are obviously not only financially invested, but like emotionally invested in your wedding being as amazing as you want. Because when you feel like your wedding's done really well, like, we get to showcase our best work to And so my general advice to clients is always to hire vendors that you trust and then let them do what they do best. And I think that this is so true, like now even more than ever, because if you have those relationships where you can trust your vendors, it really is going to take a lot of that stress off of you after the initial changes, because you're not going to have to like have all of these things in the back of your mind. You just know that the people that you hired are there to do what they do best. And then once you trust your vendors, you can take a moment to like step back and realize that like your wedding is still going to happen. It's still going to be amazing. It might change shape or form or date or whatever, but at the end of the day, like you still get to marry the person that you love, and like that's the most important part. So
I love that. Jessica's laughing at me for clapping, but
No,
really
I'm
snaps.
laughing.
We should snap for that.
I feel like Renee read my notes.
it's funny because I'm writing these as we do this video.
I love it. I love it. No, I mean, exactly what Renee just said. I think our biggest piece of advice that we would give to our brides right now, it's probably just breathe. You know, it probably feels so overwhelming, and the emotions and everything that you're going through. And just know that while it's not our special day, it is still our special day. We are just as invested in your wedding day as you guys are. I mean, maybe not from a financial standpoint. You know, we didn't purchase a venue and a planner and florals and DJ and cakes and all those things, but we want your day to go off without a hitch, you know, or I guess with a hitch if you're getting married. So I think exactly what Renee said, just making sure that you know at the end of the day, whether your date is, you know, June 1st or October 1st, like you are still getting married, and what a blessing that is. And the person that you're marrying will still be the same person. The color of your flowers might look a little bit different. You know, your overall theme might be a little different. But at the end of the day, the reason why you're getting married is to be with that person for the rest of your life. And what a special celebration that is. So
All the snaps, all the claps.
All right. For us, we understand that, you know, even weddings on a regular time when this is not going on is it's a high emotional time. It's a very, you know, all these family, there's a lot of stuff going on, and you know, this has brought it to that totally another level. So I think just asking people to remember that your vendors care about you. You know, we're trying our best. Everyone is trying their best. This is like a crazy madness situation, and just try to remember that we're trying our best and we're not doing things to be, you know, we're just trying our best, and we ask for kindness and flexibility and understanding from where we're coming from. And I think sometimes it's hard for people, but we just try to ask them to remember that we're doing our best and we're people and we care about them, and you know, this will end at some point, and we want to instead of focusing on you know, adding more stress and things like that. So
Molly, for you guys.
Madelyn and I have really been talking a lot about this, because I think right now, because of all the uncertainty, everybody's feeling so just out of wits about everything. And for us, I mean, we obviously are way lower on the totem pole for who you're reaching out to, but no question is too small. We want to be there if you have a question on really just any part of the process. If there's, you know, if you want to rework everything, if you want to make changes, obviously we don't finalize and do that kind of stuff till a month out anyways. So it's more, we just, if you want to distract yourself and talk through some different options or any of those kind of things, we want to be there for you for that. I think, you know, we're seeing a lot of brides obviously giving us a rescheduled date that's a little bit closer, and then some that have a backup date that's a little bit further out. And obviously knowing any of those details from you is helpful on our end. But during this time, obviously, we just really want to make sure that you feel comfortable to ask us any questions, and know that, you know, the door is always open if you just need to talk about anything at this time. So
I can kind of attest to that. My biggest, I guess, advice for couples rescheduling right now, it's patience. It's patience with not only us, but patience with yourselves, because yeah, we want to say like, hey, communicate. Obviously, like most of us were really on the ball and sent out emails and started reaching out, like, because it is our job to make sure that we are communicating, but also communicating back to us. If you have an idea of a date, even if you're like, this isn't for sure, just let some of us know, because it's hard for me. Like right when this happened, I'm pretty sure you guys probably did this. I literally in one email sent all my availability for the rest of the year for my clients. I'm like, these are the dates I have available. They're yours. Like, just let me know, because the longer you wait to even let me know that, or let us know that that's the date, it could be taken. And right now I'm like, I can tell you right now, like one bride needed a date that's already taken, and now we're having to kind of rework things a little bit for them, because I had already been booked for the date that their venue was booked for, and it's helping us kind of communicate with each other too as vendors, because it is hard to not let everything that's going on out in the world kind of become so heavy that you feel rushed to do something that isn't right for you. I kind of messed up this question earlier. That was for advice for couples that are rescheduling. We can talk about couples that are new couples. Again, like I said, the ones that are actually getting married from like starting from scratch to 2021, and any type of, a lot of your dates are kind of getting taken up by these 2020 couples that are having to reimagine their entire wedding day. So we're going to talk a little bit. This will be our final question to our vendor panel. What questions you should be asking us, and how to proceed with your 2021 wedding.
Unmute myself. There you go. So basically, personally, I've been doing this for 10 years now, and this is the first time I've experienced anything like this. So we're in unknown territory. So we're obviously having to go back, look through our proposals, look through our contracts, revamp everything, so that it's very clear on as far as what we can and what we cannot accommodate. So for 2021 couples, the first thing we always do with all our couples is let them know that they have the ability to go through the proposal. They read everything. They feel 100% comfortable. If they want any revisions, as long as it's something that we're appropriate or we're comfortable with and it's appropriate for the agreement, we can go ahead and make that adjustment for them. So any 2021 couples, again, just reiterate, hey, really look over the contracts, really look over everything, make sure that you're comfortable with that. Now we're going to have a little more emphasis on rescheduling and postponements if that were to come up, so that people can really pay attention to that. That's the first thing. Second thing, so considering that a lot of our couples from 2020 are now looking for 2021, they're more proactive. They want to kind of move forward. And some of our 2021 couples like, oh, we have a year, we're out, we're good. But what they don't realize is now they're going to get this push of 2020 couples trying to get their date. So, we have the first right of refusal. We write out our proposals. If the couple needs more time, they can more than take their fair share of time. But we will give them that first right of refusal if somebody asks for that specific date. So now the 2021 couples, we're kind of making them mindful that, you might have a year out, but considering that a lot of couples from 2020 want to go to 2021, it might be a little more competitive. So if you do want to book a vendor, I want to say, maybe be a little bit more forward with it, or maybe a little more proactive with it, so that you can secure these vendors that you really like and that you really want to work with, because considering the current situation, they might not be available by the end of the week. Again, not trying to scare them into anything. It's the reality of the situation. So.
To piggyback off what Tasso said, for newly engaged or freshly planning 2021 couples, you're going to have to book faster. We're going to have to move a lot quicker. A lot of, especially photographers, they're 75% booked for 2021 already. Just in general, like vendors were already booking early for 2021. And now with this push of 2020 couples moving, we need to really be moving a lot faster and proactively. And if there's somebody that you can't live without in your wedding, that needs to be your priority. We always recommend, to looking at your priorities and what vendors and what categories are most important in booking those. You're going to have to move up the timeline so much faster when it comes to planning and getting contracts and getting retainers set, just in general, which makes it a lot harder for couples and their families when they don't understand why people aren't going to be available for them. So that's definitely a big one. Just like Tasso said, that it's all new. We don't know what's happening. We're trying to give first priority to those 2020 couples. But I know a lot of people that I've talked to, in the month of March, they booked 5 new weddings, and those new weddings got priority over their 2020 couples because they were proactive. They were picking those dates when people were dawdling. So that's, it goes back and forth. You've got to be really, no matter what situation you're in, whether you're a booked couple or a freshly planning couple, you've got to make your choices a lot faster, which sucks for some of us. And the other thing I would say is, when you're booking, don't just jump on somebody because they're available. You've really got to do your research and do it quickly and find somebody that clicks, because to have your ideal wedding, you want your ideal vendor team, and you want people that are going to line up with who you want. And you might run into the fact that your ideal is going to be booked. Don't be afraid to ask them for recommendations. Who we all know who is similar to our style, to our communication. Experience wise, we know who's going to be a good fit if you're drawn to our style. So don't be afraid to ask for recommendations if the person you love is no longer available for 2021. Would be my 2 big pieces of advice.
Honestly, with cakes, we won't start booking 2021 until probably like August at the earliest, and then it'll really pick up in October. So we haven't had to experience that a lot, but pretty much just piggybacking on what everyone else said. Oh shoot. Okay. Sorry, can everyone see me? Yeah. Okay, sorry, I just got a call. Piggybacking on what everyone else said, just if you know what your date in 2021 is, just get out there and see who's available and do your due diligence. But it hasn't really impacted us a lot quite yet.
My turn. I think exactly what Natasha said for us applies as well. We, because we are later in the process, we actually have just now started booking 2021 brides, and we only have a few on the book. So I think that will definitely work in your favor if brides are looking now for their vendors, especially for hair and makeup. Definitely being proactive and getting on the ball and booking that sooner rather than later. I think it's super important for anyone really that's booking a wedding right now to make sure you're reviewing the body of work that your vendor has. Are they affiliated with any organizations? Are they a part of the knot? Are they on Wedding Wire? Do they have reviews that you can look at? And really doing your research before you're booking them. I think this scenario has definitely shown us as a company, that you do have to plan for the inevitable sometimes. And I think that when you're going with a trusted company that's been around, in our case, we've been around for only 7 years. So I feel like we're still babies in the industry, but we've done over, 500 weddings in those 7 years. And so we've definitely got a handle on, what the expectations are from our brides and obviously the product that we deliver. So I think that being proactive, booking your vendor sooner rather than later, don't wait until the last minute, but definitely know who you're booking, what their policies are, ensuring that you do have a contract, because I think as hair and makeup, that's one of the things that I've really been seeing is some of our brides, not our brides obviously, but some brides in the process are struggling with the fact that they've kind of done a lot on their own and a lot of times don't have contracts for the vendors that they've used because they're trying to save a couple dollars. So really see what's important to you, where you can put your money, hiring people that know what they're doing, and really just letting them be the experts here for you is really going to be my best advice for those that are recently engaged and looking to plan for next year.
I love that. All right, here you get. Oh, you guys unmuted yourselves. Okay.
From our end, I think our biggest advice to couples getting married in 2021 is to not be afraid, not to be afraid of this same situation coming up again. Hopefully, this is something that all of us will only experience once in our lifetimes. And don't be afraid that your vendors won't be there for you next year. We're doing everything we can to make sure that we're able to be here for you next year and for the future. So we're here for you guys. We're gonna all get through this, but don't live in fear and don't be afraid to go ahead and book your wedding with all these amazing vendors next year. If you really are afraid, there is event cancellation insurance out there to help you cover those costs and to help you give you a little bit of peace of mind. So just don't be afraid. Go ahead and book. All of us, all of these vendors, all of us rely on your deposits and your promise of business next year to know that we're going to be around and able to serve you. So just keep booking those weddings and don't worry about it.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you guys on that. I mean, we've seen an influx. We're kind of on the same, if not first, last kind of, we're always referring, I feel like, hair and makeup or cake or, certain different ones at the end of kind of the process. And we're starting to see an influx of people now reaching out for 2021. I think everybody kind of has the time now, which is nice, to be able to start doing all of the planning that you might not put on the back burner for a couple more months. We definitely have seen, like everyone's saying, I mean, now there will be a portion of everybody's events that get pushed to the next year. So we definitely want to be able to secure the dates and make sure everyone has what they want for 2021. And obviously make sure that we can accommodate everyone. So the sooner the better. We're used to having consults in person, happy hours or coffee, just to kind of meet with our clientele. Obviously, we're changing everything to these types of calls. We still want to see your face. We still want to talk to you. We still want you to feel 100% confident in us. And what we're going to do for you on your big day. So happy to, just make some accommodations right now so you feel really comfortable and you can feel good with booking.
Yeah, and then for me, I guess there's two things and something that actually, when Stephen and Janelle were talking, kind of spurred up. Every time I say Stephen, Siri thinks I'm talking to her. And so first and foremost, it's already been said a million times to reach out to us, but the contracts, guys, we're all, I mean, I've already had lawyers look at my contracts. I'm sure most of people in the wedding industry have right now. Read those. Make sure that you're hiring. We all start somewhere. We do. It's just make sure you're hiring credible businesses, and you have budgets. They're respectful. You should do whatever is right for you, but please make sure to sign contracts for your protection, for the protection of your vendors. There's a lot of businesses out there that don't do this, and I've heard some horror stories. Not gonna sugarcoat that one. Recently, just in the last 3 days. Thank goodness it wasn't any of my clients, but just, I mean, we're everybody has said, we're a pretty tight-knit community, and we are in a lot of the same Facebook groups, and we hear stories. And just to give you something different, I guess, is just really review those contracts, see how you're protected. I love the idea of event insurance. I didn't even think about that. So really listen to what they just said. I mean, there you go. And that's why we do panels like this, because we all are experienced in different ways. And just don't be scared to reach out. I mean, a lot of photographers are booked out. Some are not. I mean, I know I'm not completely booked out at all for 2021. I had just before this happened started booking my 2021 clients, and then everything just kind of stopped for a week, and then it's exploding. So even to have these Zoom calls and try to get to know, I mean, it's hard to get to know somebody when you can't meet them in person. So I was doing Zoom calls with my clients before this because a lot of my clients are from Texas and Florida, and they're coming in from out of state because Colorado is a big destination location. So just get to know the people you're working with and make sure you trust them and make sure you're protected. If that's my biggest. I'm gonna unmute everybody for this last part. I've been horrible at this muting and unmuting. But any last comments or anything else you guys would like to say to our clients and future clients? This would be the time to do so.
I was just going to jump in, and I don't know if John and Stephen are doing this at the Woodlands, but Molly kind of touched on it too, and so did you, Mari, where we're doing Zoom calls. You know, we've got floral meetings still. We've still got final venue walkthroughs happening. And I know that some of the venues are actually doing virtual booking walkthroughs now too, where
That's cool.
you can reach out and you can still see your venue. It might feel a little different, but you're going to connect with the people, the place. Everything's going to look a little bit different after this, whether it's wedding related or just life related. And so being really open to the changes in the process, and you can literally be in your pajamas while touring your potential wedding venue, and you can zoom in everybody's mama on this and see their opinions, because you know that that's always something. And some of them have just a straight up video now. There's certain venues that's they'll just send you a video of their tour, and you can get that experience. And just don't be afraid to embrace the changes. There's some really cool benefits that are going to be happening from this that we would have never expected before. So just embrace it.
Yeah, so Tasha, great example. We actually had a video before because we had a lot of people from out of town, so we're just offering them that video. We do all of our booking online even prior to this happening, so it's really easy, and we're giving people the option, like you said, your family can do a Zoom tour with us. We're happy to do it, and some people have really embraced it. It's been really cool. Yeah.
Anybody else?
I just would want to say maybe to our couples, don't lose that excitement that you had, in the initial process of planning this. Again, things might look a little bit different, it might feel different for sure. Unfortunately, the date might have to move, but you're still so excited. And just remember, when you got that ring on your finger, or that question was popped, that doesn't change. None of this changes. We are still getting a lot of inquiries. I'm actually still booking couples for later in the year. So even though we are not able to work, by a state mandate right now in the salon, that hasn't stopped us from scheduling trials for later. If those things need a shift, obviously we'll accommodate that, and we'll be flexible as we need to. But I would say stay excited. It's still a really special time in your life, how amazing it's going to be to be married at some point. And, think about those things and kind of lean more towards the positive, because I feel like when you focus on the negative, that's what you're going to get, unfortunately. So being open to that and just looking on the bright side.
Oh, I love that.
I was just going to say real quick, we've been talking a lot about just how thankful and appreciative we are of all of our clients, because ultimately we all are in this together. Really, we all, do this full time. It's how we all make an income, and we're feeling it just as much as you are. But like everybody's saying, we just want to be there for you in every way possible. And I mean, as far as I'm concerned, I'm stoked for 2020. As soon as this is over, we are going to have so much fun. It's going to be way more fun than it's ever been. We can't care so much, So again, we are extremely grateful for all of you, and so excited to work with you. So excited for 2021, 2020, all of it. So thank you.
Thank you guys so very much for taking your time, and hopefully this helps all of our clients and future clients and anybody really that needs it. I will post links to everyone's websites, and if there's some date availability, I'll try to share that as well. No pressure to all the vendors involved. I just am so great. I'm just send me all your info. I am just so incredibly grateful for this community, for all of our clients, and we're all going to get through this together. So Thank you very much. I hope you all have a lovely rest of your day.
To hug you all soon.
Hugs. Bye.